something hits you that isn't necessarily a mirror of that or this or anything, I'd love to you just hear it, and then we can talk more about the whole process. So I'm gonna, Mr. By the way, one of the things I said to Harold, because we've known each other, you folks and I have known Harold for so long.
No, of course.
So when you're sharing me the story, and you would give me the poem beforehand, I had read before with breakfast, and I said, and I'm sorry how that came out. What happened to that Harold? Because if somebody said to me, "What do you think about Harold for this workshop?" My response was, because Harold has lots of different social skills and styles, and all, one of the things with Harold is he doesn't push back. He's not confrontational enough. He's too nicey, and all of a sudden I read this poem.
Yes, I've seen you in different venues.
Part of that is
there are places you haven't seen me even today.
But trauma, that's trauma-based thing. Trauma
of course.
does stuff to us about pushing it down and inside.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, for people to learn, sometimes it needs to be able to be communicable in a way that might make people feel uncomfortable, but I think safely uncomfortable. You know, we're not kind of in somebody's face, but we are causing them to feel. I mean, you're hearing this story now from, this is a whole different culture over here, right? But you're hearing this powerful story, and on the one hand, you're empathizing with him, because here he is as one of us. And all of a sudden, you take that story somewhere else, at a bar that you go to, or at your gym, or with other friends. It's a whole different, context and feeling and judgment. It's amazing. So I'm going to my friend R.W. here. No, just a story. Like, if you were going to think of a story that to you is about, or not empathy, or can cause people or help people with that, or is whatever it is,
Well, it's interesting because, of course, when you hear stories and then words that trigger all kinds of thoughts and emotions, I actually start with something that's probably a little funny, and then I go to maybe a story, because I guess we're all great storytellers, but don't feel like one. I guess when you live in the moment, because I'm listening to your story, and I'm like, wow.
I know, it's amazing.
I know.
Wow.
No drama in my life.
I know.
But I was sitting there, interestingly enough, like thinking of people's perceptions, because it's funny when you started talking about how everybody's looking at the woman in that particular situation, the mother in that particular situation, and not thinking of the son. And out of nowhere, as I looked around, I saw the empty seat. And it's funny how our mind does this. So I'm really enjoying the story, and then I said, wait a minute, I probably should sit over there, because we were talking about diversity and things like that, and from this room, it looks like all the black people are together.
How did that happen?
And then it's funny how my mind works, because I'm still really actively listening to the story, and on the side, all these other thoughts. These other thoughts going on.
in you.
Right. Because then I'm like, and then he talks about diversity. I said, so after he's done, I'm going to go to that side.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And then I said, well, if I go to that side, with the exception of Harold, then it looks like all the men are sitting on that side. So I said, I'm going to just stay right here. I said, I'm going to just sit right here. Because if someone were to watch, if someone were to watch the video, right? If somebody were to watch a video of this, although they had absolutely nothing to do with that, people would make their perception.
Oh,
yes,
and
you're
stories
totally
out.
right.
Exactly.
When I just didn't want to interrupt
Yeah,
and walk
yeah.
over, just being
love
a
it.
gentleman was the only reason why I didn't go
So
over there.
right.
Wow.
So
The
it's
perception.
it's
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
So even though that came out of nowhere,
So funny.
No, it's cool.
that hit me. Offhand, the only story that think of when you think of school is. Again, I wasn't even around yet in the '60s, so I wait a minute. So maybe the late '60s.
No,
I'm trying to remember. I still claim my youth. But I do remember. I do remember this, and this was, and I guess growing up, not really, you know how to say, you really don't learn to be racial or prejudiced or discriminatory at that till you get older. But I do remember being in preschool, and I do share a story every once in a while. I was going to a school out not far from 34th and Haverford, I believe. But it was a preschool, and my mother, definitely wanted me to go there. Now she had to find a way to get me in there because it was a really good school. But she really wanted the best, and so I'm in the school, and I remember it nap time. I'm sure y'all remember nap time. And it's amazing, again, how things can trigger, because you would think that you don't remember that far back. I'm maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I remember at nap time, laying down, and my head was close to another gentleman's head who, his feet were that way, my feet were that way, so our heads were somewhat close.
5 years old?
Or somewhere around that time. And he was light skinned, and of course at the time, you didn't look at it as light skinned. It was just another kid. But it was the first boy I really recognized with curly hair. And so I just remember being amazed by this curly head. And I call myself a relatively good 4 or 5 year old. Mom kept me straight. So I just touched his hair, inquisitive.
Yeah.
He cried.
Oh, no.
And cried.
Oh my God.
And I got in trouble.
I was gonna say you got in trouble.
And for the life of me, I couldn't remember what I got in trouble for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know
I
they
know.
took me out of this room, and in my mind, talk about the beating. The guy who bought the parent to go over the knee.
Oh,
My mom's not abusive in that sense, but she certainly didn't have a problem sparing the ride. If you will. So, or at least the threat of it. I don't think she would have to do it. So at any rate, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble. I'm in school, and you always hear from your parents. Even at that early age, when you go to school, you better behave.
Don't make me come
I'm
there.
right.
Right.
So I'm nervous, and this is probably, as far as I remember, the first time possibly really getting in trouble in school. So I get pulled in this room, and in my mind, I'm only thinking two things. One, what the heck was he crying for? Why I'm in trouble? All I did was touch his head. I mean, I didn't hit, didn't do anything.
Right.
And then the second thing was, if I don't get out of this room, and my mom finds out I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble. So, and for those who know me, I'm a very mellow, low key, non-violent guy. And even to the day, I still don't remember how this happened. But they put me in the room with, I'm going to call her my favorite teacher. I don't know if she was, but she became my favorite teacher. But I was trying to find myself, fight my way out. Literally fight my way out.
What you were thinking of it? You
No.
really physically
Because
tried to
I had to find a way. They put me in this room with the teacher. I calling myself getting in trouble, and I didn't think I did anything wrong. And she happened to be, I won't say an older white lady, but 4 or 5, I didn't remember. And I couldn't. They had to chase me around the room. And it's funny, like when I see these things nowadays, sometimes I'm like, oh, could that have been me? Especially when you're really low key. Like,
You were in a panic.
But I was trying to get out the room.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, she got hurt trying to stop me. I think it was a chair or a desk that hit her and cut her finger. And so I guess at that age, although it may not have been a really big deal, at that age you're even more scared.
Right, they're going to bring in the
I did get out of the room.
handcuffs
Somebody
now,
else
right?
came.
Sure.
So now I'm looked at as this little black kid who's having a
No
rage.
temper, right.
When really I was just trying to fight my way out
Sure.
because I didn't want to get in trouble with my mom, and all I did was touch the kid's hair. Long story short, of course my mom did find out. She had to come get me. I don't remember if she ever did anything. Like, I really don't remember a punishment or, so that I don't really remember. But I do remember this. The teacher, the same one who was hurt, she did have to go to the hospital for her finger or whatever, I'm not sure. But that following week, I stayed with her for an evening. And I'm not even sure how that happened. But it was interesting. So apparently, I don't know what the conversation ended up being with my mother and that teacher. But I do know that at the end of it, one, I was relieved because, hey, this is somebody who apparently, she must have had my back. No matter what it looked like, she still said, no,
She wasn't blaming you.
And for me to be able to stay with her for, her and her family for an evening. And
So you were there with her family?
I stayed with
Was
literally.
your mom there?
No.
Wow.
And I guess, and again, you don't think about those things until later you get older and people teach you the things that you probably don't need to know. But like, wow, that seemed like something really unusual. And I've never asked, even from my mother, what was that about?
You stayed at her house
Yes.
Yeah.
overnight.
Yes.
That's fascinating. That's
Now,
fabulous.
you were the only black person in that house?
I believe so.
Now, your mom...
And again, I don't really remember, but I remember those things happening.
Being there.
Certain things, like, are very clear.
Well, I hope you
Many
can ask
things
your
are
mom.
not. You know,
Well, no,
it makes you
so
wonder. Like,
will you ask your mom?
I
Yeah.
probably will. See what
Yeah.
she remembers, if anything.
No, because she might have a,
Yeah.
she may have a
Totally
whole
different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
perception
because
of
I'm
it.
thinking that
Yeah.
they did that to you,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you hurt, not that you really hurt her on purpose, but that you did hurt her,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, for you to have this, it was really nice of them.
Really?
Well, it could have been the
It was
mom
fabulous.
and the teacher talking
Yeah.
and setting that up
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Good.
to try to heal. and
Right, he's
because
not a
she loves
raging
you
boy.
and, you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
holy.
We all have to go back and talk to our moms now, because I have to talk to my mom about the Tanzania thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what about the two cops outside her door overnight while you were there?
Oh, they
Did
were
anything
inside.
happen with-
No.
Was this?
They were her cousins.
Was this in
They were her
Philadelphia?
cousins. This was Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
This was Philadelphia. Actually, 'cause the school, actually, I don't even think it's a school now, finally. Because it has always looked the same until last week. And it's probably why it triggered it too. Because as I rode past taking my godson home, my godson lives on 41st and Powton.
Okay.
So I happened to take Expressway was crowded. So I said, let me get off at Spring Garden. And I rode down the street and I said, wow, I used to go to that school. He said, that's a restaurant.
Oh,
I said, oh. So I'm going to come back and get something to eat.
Yeah,
a
wow.
restaurant.
Star City Spring, I forget the name of it, but it's
Now, it just getting out of the moment for a second.
Sure.
So, when you were telling that story, one of the pieces of that story that really is a fascinating yin yang, you look at it in a mirror, is the whole issue of white kids wanting to feel black guys' hair, black girls or guys' hair. And it was a disrespectful, black people say, the next person who has
Right,
to
right.
touch
yeah,
my hair
yeah.
went out, and it was always the minority who was being touched by the majority.
Yeah, this is the opposite
That's
way.
right.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
God,
This
yeah.
is
So it was
true.
almost like
Yeah.
an opposite kind
Yeah.
of piece.
Sure.
And so somebody who was white and a kid,
Yeah.
remembering touching, and then all of a sudden the reaction will back.
Or thought he
They
was
might
white.
have some.
Yeah, because I don't.
Right.
Yeah, he's saying that, I don't know.
What?
Yeah. He
I
could have been
thought
light
he was
skinned.
white. He said he may have been light
Yeah,
skinned.
I don't even.
Yeah.
Well, how
Because
do
at
you
the
remember?
time, I had not
But just
learned.
He had curly hair.
But
yeah.
do you remember whether the school, your kindergarten, was mainly white, mainly black? You don't remember.
And here's the sad reality of how once you learn things, the perception. My mother always said I wanted you to go to a good school.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of my neighborhood school. And I'm believing this school I'm talking about, I've always been far the minority. Far as I know, I was told I was the first black kid at Stephen Decatur, for example. May not have been true. I know I didn't remember any other ones while I was there.
Yeah.
So even that school, the fact that she had to kind of lie and beat around the bush to get me in there, later on, again, because I never asked Mom these questions, later on makes me believe that I may have been one of the few.
See, that's how far we are from progress. Because the good schools are still the white schools.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better
Right.
believe it.
Still the same.
Yeah, my friends are teaching